what did I want to go over? Let's see. I hadn't thought about it yet. I love the stuff that you told me last time, especially um, just regarding like how to build items. I know you didn't necessarily say it this way, but I kind of understood. Maybe I'm wrong, but I kind of understood that it's better to have items, even if they're smaller items, uh, earlier on in the game, rather than saving up for one big item later on.
Yeah, there's kind of like you shouldn't go first item radiance. So it's
Right,
kind of
right,
like a balance where you also shouldn't go like wand, Aquila, treads, wraith band. Like you shouldn't
right,
get
right,
a
right, right,
ton of small items. You should get what
right.
you feel like you can get.
What you
Uh,
need, and that'll make a difference, kind of thing.
yeah. Um,
Yeah,
get a kind of like you want to find a balance where you get as little as you need to, but not any less than that. Um,
right, right,
so like for PL, sometimes you can just get like treads and soul ring, and that solves your mana and your health or your health
right,
regen because you have um, all the mana you need for your spear with the soul ring, and then the extra health regen helps you a bunch if you're not using your spells. So like that's a small item he can get that helps him a lot, and then
right,
you
right,
go
right,
into
right.
like diffusal blade or something from there.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah. So that helps a lot. Uh, I think I'd like to go over probably just maybe the basics of what makes a good support. Because I feel like, especially at this MMR that I'm in, uh, a good support is actually what makes the difference. Because if you're stacking and pulling and whatever, even if you have a shitty carry, if they're like getting more farm because you're supporting them well, then it's almost like you're making them a better carry to win the game,
Yeah.
type of thing.
So are you talking about like what a support player or a support hero?
Oh, I guess a support player, because you can support with any hero, I
Yeah.
guess.
I didn't know if you're trying to say like why is CM a good support and like Brood Mother isn't. But yeah,
Well,
hopefully.
I wouldn't be able to answer that question either, but but I think what I was asking was, yeah, the first one.
All right. Well, coordinator's down,
Yeah, I
so
just saw
um
that.
we can watch. Hopefully this is a good game. We can watch this and talk about it some. Or fucking. This is annoying. Um. If this stays down for too long, we can just wait a little bit and then start the lesson later.
Yeah.
Um, but so as a support, let's see if I can like come up with some bullshit. Um, there's okay. Can I not even do that? Alright, so what makes a good support is, like, as a player, is kind of like identifying what your carry needs and identifying what the enemy offlaner wants to get out of the lane. So we're gonna focus on the first 10 minutes because that's kind of like the most like
When you can have an impact.
yeah, it's the most critical and it's the most not straightforward. Like later on at 25, 30 minutes, you're usually just grouping with your team and doing some shit.
And getting powered and shit. Yeah.
Yeah. But in the first 10 minutes, it's very, you can do a lot of different things, and just sitting bottom with your safe lane carry isn't always helpful. Whereas
Right.
always sitting with your team in the late game is like very close to always helpful.
Gotcha.
So the first thing to consider is all of the heroes that are in the game, really, which can kind of be overwhelming. So you usually want to start with just like your carry, and if there's another support with you, and then the off lane. But as an overall, it's very good to look at a team as a whole. Let me see if there's... Can I not even see... So I'm going to try and look for some examples.
Okay.
Alright, so this game's pretty good. Kind of. So, in this game, let's say... Actually, I don't know. I'm trying to find an example of where going to the safe lane just isn't good as a support.
Okay.
Hey, so for this game, so it's a safe lane morphling mid OD and then a off lane Mirana with the Clockwork and the Omni Knight being the supports.
Okay.
And the off lane was a Sand King. So in this game, we started. I think this was. I drafted this, and this was like
Now,
in.
This isn't on the screen, right?
Oh, okay. Let me. I guess you were just like looking at no screen for a little bit there.
Just looking at the big old TV.
Yeah, I was looking through my downloaded games. So this is the game we're gonna look at real quick.
Okay. It's funny because, well, I saw you playing the Clockwork game, I think yesterday,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure. So,
Oh no, this was a while ago.
gotcha.
But okay, so this is an example of the Sand King's off lane, the Razor's safe lane, the Quap's mid, and then these are the two supports, the Rubick and the AA, and we have our carry, our mid, our off laner, and then we roamed or supported these two. But in this game, what would you say is the best course of action for the supports on this team?
I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Yeah, it's something that you have to, like it's not obvious, and you have to get into the mindset of thinking about it before it starts like popping out some more. So,
Right.
in this game, in my opinion, it's best to have the Omni Knight and the Clockwork bottom, against the Sand King with the Morphling to start the game, and then when the Morphling is like level 2 or 3 or 4 and has maybe treads and a wand, and the Sand King's like still level 1 or 2 because we zoned them hard with these guys, then we can start running around because we already won this lane.
Okay.
So that's an example of like a conditional thing that if you just sit bottom with these two the whole game, babysitting the Morphling, your Morphling's going to have the same exact amount of farm but less experience.
Right, because you guys are great.
Yeah, and if you leave, where'd it go? Is coordinator back?
Nope.
But if you leave at when you leave when the Morphling's strong enough to zone the guy out himself,
Then you're just giving him more XP.
yeah, you're giving him more experience.
Solo.
Alright, I think I can.
It's back. Yeah.
Is there a game that you wanted to look at? A good game that you like? I can talk about the whole subject based around the replay probably. So if there's,
Well, I think the replay of the first Treant, the hour game, was one where I supported, because I think this last one I went mid because nobody was going mid.
oh nice. Yeah, you supported this. So it depends
Again,
on.
like you said, it's kind of hard to support well with kind of like the proper techniques at this MMR because they're not playing their lane well enough where I can leave for 2 seconds and
Yeah, people
like,
can
pull
just
the
die.
lane or back, so I have to babysit them in lane a lot. But I know that I'm not playing as best as I can, so
Yeah. And usually with mistakes like that, it's just kind of like you should get in the habit of doing what's right, even if it's like.
even if it costs them, just so that I start being a better player.
Yeah, like you want to get in the habit of doing the correct things, so when you do start gaining MMR, you're not stuck in a habit of a lower MMR mindset.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You don't have any regen, and you got a windlace.
Okay, my mindset here is I don't have any regen because of my third skill. Just in case I need it, and usually if I get my invis quick enough, I don't end up taking that much damage.
You want to start with your invis in like 95% of the games. Because this is just kind of like, it sucks at level 1.
Okay.
And this is your scouting tool.
Makes a big difference. Yeah.
Yeah. And it allows you to get on top of people. Like, if the Earthshaker's here, and you want to get on top of him, you have to run all this distance. But if you're invisible, he doesn't know you're there until you're right on top of him.
Right.
And it allows you to place wards from invis. And you usually get a second attack off if you get the first one. So, with all that said, you want to start with your Q, and you would much rather have an Orb of Venom here than a Windlace. Because the Orb of Venom will keep you on top of the guy that you're already on top of, whereas the Windlace will get you on top of the guy that you weren't going to get on top of. But with your Q, you're already on top of him by the time that, like, the interaction starts.
The only reason I didn't buy Orb of Venom is because now it apparently doesn't build into anything.
Well, it only built into Scotty before, and you're not going to be getting a Scotty.
Right.
That's like saying you should never get a Stout Shield anymore. I guess Stout Shield makes Vlad's, or Vanguard, but... It's just kind of like playing into... So you agree that the main power spike of most supports is the first 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of want to itemize around that. And Orb of Venom does that, where...
Gotcha.
Yeah, it does 15 extra damage every attack, and it'll probably let you get an extra attack off just because they're slow. And maybe you get another guy gets another attack off because they're slow.
Gotcha.
Alright, so your guys' lanes are fucking retarded.
Yeah. Oh shit, I think this is the one that I went mid. Was this the hour one or the...
Yeah, I think it's the hour one.
Huh. Fuck. Yeah, I don't... I think this is the one that I have went mid. Shit.
Yeah, usually you want... I haven't played this guy too much since they nerfed, like, all of his shit. But I think you want these two as your first skills. Because this gets you on top of them, and this is another slow that stacks with your Orb of Venom. And, like, they can't trade it with you when you're getting 15 health a second, and they're losing 15. And you have 90 damage. So they're gonna run away, and they're gonna be 30% slowed with your Orb of Venom and your Leech Seed. As opposed to you being able to heal somebody for... what is that? 60 health over the course of 15 seconds. You basically heal for like 120 if you spam this at level 1. So it's like shit. But like the third and the fourth point are really good. So it's like you probably want to go 1-1 and then max this.
Gotcha.
And sometimes when I played this guy, I would even skip his ult at level 6. And instead get another point of this. because the route lasts more than twice as long. The bonus movement speed is almost twice as good, and like there's a lot of situations where you just don't use this until you're level 9 anyways.
Right.
Plus it's a ton of mana. But yeah, this is... I don't like this because... I guess you ran mid because no one was mid.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a goon fest.
It is, yeah. I think the other game was the one where I put to this one.
Let's do that one because it's hard to...
Yeah.
You did it again.
I did. You did it again.
I would have much rather seen you get like a 4 staff. Even than Ags. Because this guy's Cloud, it like 4 staff just completely shits on it. They're probably gonna do some.
That guy was feeding and like feeding himself and the courier down there.
Ah, nice.
He wasn't an issue at all.
Well, they're gonna root into Mirana Arrow if they're good.
They're not good.
Yeah. What MMR are you again?
Like 300.
Ah, I got you.
So how come my MMR stayed kind of low, but my rank, like when I played with you last time, I was Herald 1.
Your rank is your highest achievement. So, like, I immediately got Divine 5 when I calibrated. So, if I was just to lose 1,000 games, I'd still be Divine 5.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's kind of huge that you take so long to go out from the base. Like, if you get out sooner and you place wards sooner, you can oftentimes see when they're gonna place wards, and you can get sentries on it, which is your 100 gold back, and it's 100 experience, and they don't have vision for like 5 or 6 minutes.
Okay.
And now you guys have no observer wards, and you have a sentry. You shouldn't have got the windlace. Like, just having
generally, to you put down wards.
Huh?
Even this early in the game, generally you put down wards.
Yeah, you put down wards like before the game starts.
Gotcha.
Like
I typically wouldn't putting them down again because of this MMR. It's like everyone's in lane for the first at least 5 minutes or so. So it's like usually there's no reason at this MMR I guess to put down wards. That's why.
Well, it's kind of like you can do a lot more if you know where the enemy is all the time. So if you put like a ward right here.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Is like usually at this MMR, like the enemy is like in lane the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know what I mean.
That happens at all the MMRs. It's still like very helpful to have a ward, even if the people are just staying in their lane, because like, if you have a ward like right here, and this guy goes and jungles, then you can like push the lane. Or if he's low health and he like sits in these trees trying to get experience, you can see him having not left. Or if you want to stack and pull or pull and then connect, you can see him running over because his creeps are going to run over here, so this whole area is going to be black. So it's just kind of like, it's very good to have the lane wards.
Gotcha.
And it's like, what is your windlace? If you think about what a ward is going to do as opposed to you having this windlace, and you can have like 3 wards for the cost of this one item. You should be. You need to be playing more aggressive.
Okay, how?
Yeah. So, you're just kind of like waiting for him to come up to the creep wave before you do anything. So what you should be doing instead, let's fast forward it. So like he just walks away and then you're like, alright, well he's gone forever, so I'm just gonna sit here for the rest of until he comes back. Like why aren't you just coming up here and like attacking him there?
Because I thought he was so low health that he'd be going back to regen.
Well then, like, what are you accomplishing here that you wouldn't be accomplishing there, then?
Well, I guess my only mindset right now is to have Medusa be getting the farm and making sure that he's not keeping her from getting farmed.
Well, how would you, standing here, prevent that any more than standing there?
It wouldn't. Yeah. It wouldn't, you're right. I could be staying over there.
Yeah, and this is another example of, like, the ward being good. Because, like...
Gotcha. I can see if he's there.
Yeah.
Or not.
And it's like, I think part of it is you don't know the range of this.
Okay.
So you might be, like, scared that you're gonna break invis or something by moving. Like, it's got a pretty decent range. But you're, like, staying in this little, like, nook right here.
Yeah.
And right here, I'd be like, alright, cool, I can salve and then heal, like, somebody else. And if you press Alt during a game, it pops up all these health bars. Or at least the health bars of you. So, like, right now, you should be salving yourself and then healing this guy.
Right.
But instead, you're going to heal yourself up to a point where you don't want to salve because it's not going to be, like, the full effect of it.
I think I salved Medusa.
And, like, here, one sec. Here, you need to be going for the bounty runes. Like, you're not... You punched them a few times, but you're really not doing anything.
Right.
Like, you took some health and stuff. But, like, why wouldn't you be going for the bounty runes right now?
Just because, I mean, my mindset is just because he's treating it so slow, especially when he's not invis, that it just takes forever to go get the bounty runes, that I would be leaving Medusa alone and not making sure that she just has that free farm.
Well, if you have a ward here, and you leave... You're fine with her. Like, she has all the information to be safe if you just, like, have a ward like here.
Just people, yeah. Okay.
And then instead of this guy getting both of the bounty runes, getting, like, 130 gold and, like, 70 experience, you would be getting that. So it'd be, like, a 260 gold swing and 130 experience swing. But instead, you just kind of, like, steal experience from the Medusa. Which isn't too bad, because she doesn't need experience so much, but, like, you could have been... You got experience by sitting here, but you didn't generate experience by sitting here. You just kind of, like, leached it off of her. Whereas, if you went here, she would be getting more experience.
And I'd be getting my own experience as well.
Yeah, and you'd be getting gold, which would mean you have your boots right now. This guy would have 100 less gold, and then he wouldn't be getting his boots for a longer time. And when this guy gets tranquils, it's a lot harder to zone him out. So you're very static in your lanes. Like, you could have stacked something right now. Like, if you had the ward and you saw him running... like, he's going back to base. Like, why aren't you just, like, stacking this or something?
Right.
A lot of being support is just being, like, creative with what you're doing. Because, like, if you're not creative with what you're doing, you're just going to be, like, sitting next to your carry the whole game. just
Right.
making them have less experience and yourself having less experience in gold. Like, he's just getting all of the bounty runes. He's gotten 4 bounty runes so far, and you've gotten none. So if you got the 4 instead of him, that'd be like, what is that? Like a 500 gold swing and 250 experience swing so far. So what I want you to be doing in your next games as support, is I want you to focus a lot on the bounty rune timings. They spawn every 2 minutes, and I want you to be putting a ward in your lane so you can keep track of the enemy offlaner a lot better. And that'll give you like a little bit more, like, you probably feel like there's not anything else you could be doing in this lane. But by placing the ward and going for the bounty runes, you can start like doing a lot more and getting more farm and gold, and then the offlaner's more shut down and all that. So that'd be a good starting place. And like, you have a mobile save. Like, you don't, if they go on your Medusa and you're getting a bounty rune, you can throw this on her and it'll help her some.
Right.
Like, the game, it's 10 minutes and you've gotten 0 bounty runes.
Right.
That's not acceptable as a solo support. Like, by now I probably would have had like 8 bounty runes.
Gotcha.
And usually you want to, I guess it's hard because this isn't maxed. You want to punch and then ult, and then sit around and try and get a punch again, unless you guys need the damage. Because that's how you get the most duration of the root. Lol.
Gotcha.
I like how you just threw the spell on her, because lol. Yeah, from this replay, it seems like you don't value bounty runes at all, but those are kind of like, as a support, bounty runes are your farm, as much as creeps are a carry's farm. I think we should go through another replay. I don't know if I have any position 5 ones. Yeah. Alright, we can watch one of mine and then talk about what I do. Because that might be a better example.
Sure.
So I gave the mid 2 tangos, because that's pretty standard. And then I think I gave the bat 1 ward. And
okay.
Usually you want your safe lane and your off lane to have wards, but there are situations where you want your mid to have one instead of the off lane or the safe lane. And those situations are, like, if they have roamers that are going to go mid a lot, but you have like a super soft or super strong safe lane or off lane or something that like doesn't really need one.
Yeah.
So that'll just but that's pretty rare. And we run straight out so we can protect our area from getting warded.
Okay.
and we have vision on all of them, so I don't want to drop the ward because any one of them could be paying attention to me right now, and then they'd just get dewarded. This just kind of like sucks, but.
And how would he know that you dropped the ward? Just because you like.
They would look at my inventory and then see that I don't have it there anymore later.
Gotcha. That's something I don't do, and I need to start looking at the enemy's inventory.
Yeah, it helps a lot when it comes to wards and then items later on.
Yeah.
So, one thing that's very important is we had the range creep go first, so this guy's gonna die first, and then that's gonna make the equilibrium very anti-fragile for us, because like I can do shit like this and it doesn't fuck up the lane, because most of our damage from the range creep's probably like 30 or 40% of the creep wave's damage, and if it's just dead right away, then it's never gonna push up, or at least it's gonna be. We have to majorly fuck it up. And here we're just zoning him between. This kind of sucked for me, but we're zoning him between creep waves so we don't fuck up the equilibrium. Like what happened there kind of did. Like if that happened, but we didn't have the range creep go first, the lane would push here because we had our range creep die right away, so we'd have an extra one right here that's alive. And then we'd have two range creeps and they only have one, and our shit would push. But it's just barely not gonna push. I'm saving my stun because I know that the only way that he lives is through some cheeky shit. So I just held it for a bit. I think we get the kill. I hope we do. But yeah, now bounty runes are spawning and he's low, so I'm going aggressive, taking his, killing him. Do you have any questions about anything that's happened so far?
No.
Okay.
I'm just watching and seeing kind of the mindset that you are playing in.
Yeah. And that sentry was kind of like, it's very common to have a ward in this area. So I placed this, also hoping that it might catch the Sand King doing his Sandstorm. But if he wasn't a Sand King, I probably wouldn't have placed that ward unless he did something that portrayed that there was a ward there.
Right.
And now the lane's pushing up, so I'm just gonna pull this. I think I bolt it so that I get to kill more of it before my creep wave dies, because they do reduce damage. So I'm probably gonna get like an extra creep or two from it. And my Luna's not really worried about the Sand King because she's
already out leveling them.
She's level 4. He's 4 also. But like she has boots and stuff, and he doesn't. So she's she's like 80 movement speed faster than the guy. I ducked down so he couldn't nuke me.
Because you went out of vision?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I got a point in the null field because I'm low on mana and they're doing a lot of magic damage. So usually telekinesis...
I've never played rubick.
Huh?
What's null field? I've never played Ruby.
It either decreases the magic damage you take or increases the magic damage dealt. So anyone within this aura, it either amplifies or reduces damage. So anyone that's within this radius, if I have it on this one, takes increased damage from magic. So this creep has it, and he has 10% less magic resistance. But if I switch it, then everything in this, on my team in this radius has 10% less, or 10% more magic.
More?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, do I want my spells to do more damage, or do I want my team to take less damage?
Right.
And I didn't have mana for any other spells, so this is just kind of like, if their team casts 3 spells, then that's 30% of a nuke that just didn't get casted for free for me.
Right.
Did they have a ward there? No, I guess not. Yeah. Is this helping at all, watching this?
Yeah. More so the beginning, like you said, like the first kind of 5 minutes.
Okay.
Kind of thing. I think now we're getting into like.
Yeah, this is more of like the lane
like
dissolving.
Yeah.
So do you have any questions? I don't know if I have another. We can watch this one. This might be good.
No, not so much. Questions. I mean, is there like a priority, like the way that you prioritize whether you stack and pool, or whether you?
I guess what you're asking is, so it's kind of like, it depends on the game a lot, but it's usually you want to prioritize your carry getting farm and experience, and then the enemy not getting farm and experience, and then you getting farm and experience.
Gotcha.
So from that, it's kind of like this game's gonna be very much that, where my carry is super important because he's a Huskar, and
Right.
he either dominates or he falls off. So
Right.
he's a huge priority for me to get him his experience and his gold. And then they have a Doom offlane, I think, which, with or without farm and experience, he's gonna Doom someone. So
Right.
there's not too much stopping him from being like a huge factor.
Right.
And then I'm a fucking dazzle, so like level 2 is as good as level 20 on this guy.
Right.
As long as I can cast my grave on my Huskar, we're good.
Right.
But yeah, we outnumber this guy, so we're gonna hunt him down.
So, for example, if I was on the opposite team right now, looking at your lineup, would it be smart as a support to have, for example, like an Orchid, so that when I see that Husker is getting low, and kind of trying to time when you're gonna cast your grave to silence you, would that be like the right mentality of thinking about item builds as a support from the other team in this situation?
No, because it depends, kind of.
Because doesn't that dissolve like half of your team's strategy, which is you casting Shallow Grave when he's super low health, type of thing?
I mean, it's good, but it's kind of like, you could also get a Yule's for the Huskar, and that's half of Grave's duration just gone. Or you could get an Urn, which doesn't stop with the Grave at all, but it kills him really quickly. But like neither
wouldn't it be more effective though? Like if you do the Yules, it just sends him up and like the grave duration's gone, but he's either healing or not dying. But if I silence you and you think you're going to be able to cast Crave and he thinks you're going to be able to cast Crave, and then you can't, he will die.
Well, also, another part of it is Aegis is a huge factor with Huskar. So, like, you can Orchid me for the first one, but you're not going to be able to do it for the second. And you have to be in range to cast it on me, so it would only be the Bounty Hunter that could do it. And if we have good detection, you're not going to get on the dazzle. Because, like, so let's say we're taking a team fight here. The Huskar is going to be here, and I'm going to be, like, all the way back here. And we're going to have, like, a sentry down. So the Bounty Hunter would have to come around back and sneakily Orchid me right as they're going on the Huskar. But if the Huskar has an Aegis, then Bounty Hunter's out of position silencing me. And you guys just went on Aegis Huskar, and I'm probably not going to die to a solo Bounty Hunter in 5 seconds. And then he respawns, and I just Grave him then.
The Grave has that much range?
Grave is 1,000. And he's not going to die in 1 second. So
Right.
I have all of my movement speed to run up to him when he starts going down.
Right.
So it's like, it's good in theory, but it's not as cut and dry as just get an Orchid and you win.
Right.
So here, I'm just trying to zone this guy. Doom has 0 armor. I think he has... Oh, he got this thing, so he has some armor. But we outnumber him, and I have a slow, and we have a stun and all this shit. So we're just trying to zone this guy. Like, us sitting on the Huskar isn't gonna generate more farm for him, so how we help the Huskar is just let him get his shit and stay out of his way, and keep everyone else out of his way. And now the lane's gonna push, so I'm gonna pull this, and then connect it. It's not going to, but, like, there's not too much of a reason for me not to just pull this. Because,
Right, get closer to your tower.
yeah. And then I also get the farm and experience, and then this guy doesn't have the option of getting it.
Right.
And it's like, what else am I gonna do in the next however many seconds?
Right.
Now it's just kind of like nobody's in lane, nobody's contesting my Huskar. And he's not worried about, like, last hitting under tower so much. So I can just do this. And he's fine in lane. And even if he drops some, I can just throw a few heals on him.
Right.
And see, this Doom's level 3 at 5 minutes in the game, when he can literally just, like, eat a creep because of how we're properly zoning him. And I was scared of the Bounty Hunter getting the snipe, that's why I did the courier like that. But you see how kind of, like, I'm not worried about the Huskar anymore because we gave him the good early.
Right.
So if I really wanted to, I could just, like, leave and go mid or something. Strictly because I shut down the Doom enough and I bolstered the Huskar enough.
Yeah.
And, like, all of my, or most of my experience is from either kills or creeps.
For the creeps right now, yeah.
Yeah. And most of my gold also. And now we're at a point where we want to push the tower, so it's fine that these 2 creeps are going to be introduced. Because Huskar has his armlet, so he doesn't want to be in this lane anymore. He wants to be dominating everywhere right now, because this is like the strongest he's going to be. So he wants to get the fuck out of here, so we don't really care about the equilibrium anymore.
Right.
We're probably going to take this tower and then go top or something. So does that help? This is kind of going to dissolve soon.
It does help, yeah, it does.
Okay. So we're about at our time. Do you have any questions?
No, I think this kind of gave me some more stuff to work on now.
Yeah.
The last step has been making a big difference in my games. I don't feel like it's up to the whole team being great anymore.
Yeah.
You know, where like before it was like, shit, well, if I don't have like a good team, then we're done.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like even in that Treant game where it was like, alright, you don't want to go mid, I'll go mid as Treant, and we will win anyway.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
So the main takeaways that I want you to pay attention to are definitely the bounty runes as support, and then like warding the lane allows you to do so much more. Like that.
It makes you more flexible to go full.
Yeah, you're not worried about like.
Yeah.
You'll see if like somebody TPs into your lane that's gonna kill your Medusa or whatever.
Right.
And you're gonna see when this guy's going for like this bounty rune as opposed to that one, so you can go for that one instead.
And I think I wasn't going for bounty runes, and I gave them such low importance because I watched one of the Purge videos, where he said kind of like, you know, if you're a support and you're just going to get like the bounty runes, you're not being a good support. But I think I understand that it's kind of like if your carry is doing well in lane, then you should go get the bounty runes.
Yeah, it's not that bounty runes are bad. I think I think he's saying if that's all you're contributing, then
right.
The same as if a support is only warding, he's also doing it wrong, which doesn't mean that warding as a support is bad. It's just
right, exactly. Yeah. And I guess that's why I was staying in lane, for example, like in that Treant video. Because I figured, like, oh, well, if I stay and make sure that she is getting farmed, then, you know, we're doing great. But,
yeah.
But it's kind of like, okay, if you can make sure she's getting farmed with a ward, like you said,
yeah,
then go out and do more stuff.
Yeah,
and that'll make it even that much more better.
And it goes back to the whole priority of your carry, then the enemy offlaner, and then you. Getting bounty runes usually doesn't cost the carry anything, but it costs this guy when he's probably gonna go check the bounty rune and he's gonna get nothing. So you're shutting him down there, and then you're also bolstering yourself, meaning that like if you let the offlaner get all of the bounty runes by 6 minutes, he's gonna be a lot stronger relative to if you don't.
Right.
And then, like, sometimes if you get all the bounty runes, you can even, like, body the offlaner. And at that point, if you kill him once, then he comes back to lane, your carry is going to be able to, like, do whatever the fuck he wants. Because your carry is going to be stronger than you.
Right.
And then you can leave the lane much stronger and do things elsewhere with him being completely shut down.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. Try to pay more attention to the bounty runes if you can.
Cool.
Definitely start warding the lane, because hopefully that I've like convinced you that they're useful.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
I think for me, wards were like, oh yeah, okay, you get wards and you set them up, if you feel like they're gonna gank you type of thing,
Yeah.
or when you're kind of starting to push as a team, so you have vision on where everybody is,
Yeah.
type of thing. Like what you guys have right now in their top jungle.
Yeah.
That's kind of was my concept of what wards are, but I guess that makes a lot of sense that it's like the safe lane. If I want to be able to go stack and pull and make sure that my carry's okay, then just leave a ward there. Type of thing.
Yeah. It's kind of like, so let's say they have a Pudge on the enemy team. He TP's here, and then like you see him run like over here,
Right.
and then you know he's in this area. That one ward paid for itself because that's going to keep your carry from dying, and it's
Right,
going to
right.
the Pudge is going to waste a minute, and he's not going to get experience.
Yeah.
He's going to sap it from this, and that's just from seeing one TP.
Right.
And then there's also the if you see which bounty rune he's going to, you can get the other one, and that immediately pays for itself. Like, a ward is 80 gold. Getting a bounty rune is like 50 or 60, but it's also the enemy not getting the 50 or 60. And it's
Right.
the 30 or 35 experience also. And then also if you see them place a ward, then you can deward it and get 100 experience for free, and they don't have any vision, and they wasted 80 gold. So it's just kind of like...
It starts compiling.
yeah, it's any one of those things is worth having the ward for.
Right.
But then it's just like there's like 20 different reasons you want the ward that are all worth just having the ward on their own. So it's if you start getting wards, it's gonna help you a bunch. Depending on how, like, you have to actually use it though. Like, you have to check your mini map and see it.
Right.
And
I think before I would like get a ward, and like in my early days of playing Dota, I would like place it at the beginning, but I guess I didn't even know where to place them, so I was like placing them, and I was like, well, they don't really help until the team fights start.
Yeah.
You know, so why place wards?
I
early?
got you.
And that's why that created that bad habit.
Gotcha.
But gotcha, so I'll start doing that.
Yeah. So any final questions before we wrap it up?
Nope.
Alright.
Pretty good. Thank you.
Yep, I'm gonna put this up. Hopefully the file doesn't fuck up, which it has been doing, which is annoying, but yeah, I'll send you the link when it's done.